There is a certain feeling that we expect to get when it comes to all Marvel productions in recent years. Guardians of the Galaxy does not fail to deliver on a good story, action, adventure, and goofy moments. The implementation of how your choices affect the story can lead to some really interesting outcomes. Hello and welcome everyone, my name's Alex and I'm here to share my opinion on the game. Hit that like and subscribe button, comment below what's your favorite Marvel video game, and let's get into it. In a gaming world filled with countless map markers and sprawling open environments, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy stands out as a linear action-adventure title that has a distinct start, middle and finish. This classic approach is a breath of fresh air, leading you seamlessly through the story. However, that doesn't mean that it's just a straight path with no highs, lows or unexpected twists. Overall, the game is a delightful surprise. Jumping between planets as Star-Lord is a blast, especially with his vibrant crew and the hilarious banter they have. Whether you're a Marvel enthusiast or just someone who doesn't know much about it, you're guaranteed to have a great time, no matter your level of MCU knowledge. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy tells the story of Peter Quill, also known as Star-Lord, as he heads up a quirky crew of outcasts. There's Gamora, the galaxy's top assassin, Drax, a big guy with a knack for being funny without trying, Rocket, a smart raccoon with a love for blowing things up, and Groot, who keeps reminding everyone that he is Groot. Can Peter really handle this wild group? As a bit of a clueless dude, maybe not, but somehow he manages to pull it off. Peter's got no choice here, as the pilot takes a sharp turn from the usual crime stuff to something way more personal. Without giving too much away, it turns into a search for someone dear to him, and as they get closer to finding them, everything goes haywire like it usually does, and leads to a massive crisis that impacts everyone. I found myself really hooked. To be honest, the story quality, facial animations and actions are on par with any solid Marvel movie. The difference is, instead of just chilling with a beer while the projector does its thing, you're actually in charge of these wild superheroes. That's it. The game's layout kind of reminds me of classic titles like the first Gears of War. You've got a clear path ahead. It's not all about moving forward, one goal leads to the next, and there are no side quests, no open worlds and no map markers. And wow, does it guide you through smoothly. Diving deeper into the Gears of War vibes, playing Guardians feels like guiding a rowdy crew through a maze of tunnels. Along the way you squeeze through secret spots and glide down slopes. You can summon Groot to whip up a root bridge or have Gamora chop through metal obstacles in your way. There are some light platforming and puzzles sprinkled in too. Every now and then you might tumble off a ledge into a big arena where you battle it out before starting the whole adventure again. Absolutely, Guardians unfold its narrative using a familiar structure of activities, but it spices things up with unexpected twists and cool little details. For instance, during flashbacks, it actually lets you take control instead of just showing a cutscene like many other games do. There are moments when it throws you right into the pilot seat of Peter's ship and with a straightforward mission, get out of there fast. At one point, I got to soak in sight of a lively black market, and instead of a typical slow camera pan, Peter just popped in his headphones, leaned against the railing and started jamming to some music. By the way, if you're going to be traveling all over the place in Guardians and every location is super well done, highlights include the black market I mentioned earlier with its shady bars and sketchy minigames, plus the thought-provoking cells of this prison created by a mighty Soviet Labrador. And let me tell you, sneaking up on a legendary Beastmaster's fortress while lighting was flashing all around us was an unforgettable experience. Whatever you're up to, chilling in your ship, exploring some alien caves, your buddies are always chatting away. The back and forth between the Guardians never gets stale, though it's always tied to what's going on and can be pretty funny. Sometimes there's so much chatter that you might actually miss something important because you all accidentally step over an invisible line and set off more dialogue. It's definitely a nice problem to deal with. However, there's one thing about the Guardians conversation that kind of bugs me, and that's the game many dialogue choices. Some of them are really great. For example, I managed to divert attention from a friend so well that they ended up giving me a special keycard that turned out to be super useful later, letting me bypass some puzzles or grab a collectible I wouldn't have reached otherwise. These dialogue choices can be pretty frustrating, especially when they turn major story moments into a game of luck. If you accidentally pick a bunch of wrong responses, you might get a message saying something like, "You didn't convince Timmy in that debate, so now you have to improvise." It's super annoying when you don't even realize it's a crucial moment until you find out you messed up. Sure, these choices don't have that deep impactful consequences like in The Witcher 3, but still feels like a throwback to an older gaming style. It's the one aspect of Guardians' nostalgic vibe that really leaves me feeling mixed. You know what really gets me fired up? The combat, for sure. As Star-Lord, you need to read the battlefield and make the most of your teammates' skill, or you're going down for sure. As Star-Lord, you mainly take out foes with your blasters or unleash various elements like ice and lightning to break shield or freeze enemies. You're kind of a jack of all trades, I guess, but honestly, your teammates play a crucial role. Each Guardian excels at a specific area. Drax is fantastic at filling the enemy's stagger bar with his punches, making them vulnerable for a short time. Gamora dishes out serious damage. Rocket can blow up big clusters of enemies, and Groot has the ability to immobilize them. Fighting is all about crafting killer combos and finding unique ways to take down your foes. One of my top picks is having Drax smash the ground, sending enemies flying, and then letting Gamora go to town on them. If I'm in a really ruthless mood, I might use Rocket's gravity grenade to cluster them up or launch them again with Groot's explosive roots. Plus, with your 4 unlockables abilities each, there are so many options to explore. As you navigate through Guardians of the Galaxy, you'll explore a bunch of different spots from Nova Corp, spaceships to stunning alien landscapes. The gameplay is pretty straightforward, with mostly linear paths that sometimes throw in an environmental puzzle or a collectible to hunt down, all mixed in with battles in larger arenas. Just like the combat, these sections keep things fun mainly because of the witty dialogue and the visual flair, rather than being super complex or immersive on their own. Sometimes you need to take charge of your teammates, like asking Rocket to hack a terminal or getting Drax to haul something heavy from one place to another. This leads to some pretty straightforward yet entertaining puzzle solving as you figure out how to mix and match their abilities. Plus, having your crew around makes the journey feel more dynamic. They might wander off to check things out or just hang around looking bored while you explore a side path. Their presence also helps with that completionist itch, as they tend to gravitate towards the main path and will comment if you decide to go off hunting for treasures. You'll be picking up collectibles that serve a few purposes. Their crafting currency to boost Peter's skill, cool costumes for your teammates, way more interesting than just a core swap, with fresh outfits and nostalgic nods. Written logs that add some story depth or unique items that open up new chats when you're chilling on your ship between chapters. Collecting those goodies is always satisfying, even if the side routes are just as easy to spot and explore as the main ones. The only downside is that the crafting currency is so abundant it can get a bit tiresome to gather, but that's mostly because there is no sprint button to speed things up. Even though Guardians of the Galaxy existed long before they hit the big screen in the MCU, it's safe to say that the 2014 film really brought them into the spotlight like never before. The game definitely draws from James Gunn's awesome take on the characters and the nostalgic music, but as a comic book fan, I was thrilled to see how true it stays to the comic book style as well. I won't give anything away, but I was super excited to spot some Easter eggs and comic book nods scattered throughout. Plus, a few characters popped up in ways I didn't expect at all. It's obvious that Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is riding the wave of the movie's popularity. The first outfits you can grab for each character are inspired by the looks from the 2014 film, but you can tell there's a real appreciation for the original comics too. In the end, this game is bound to have something unique for comic book fans, but even movie-only folks can jump right in and get it, which is pretty crucial considering the wild and unexpected journey it takes and the variety of characters that pop up. Plus, we finally get to see more of Cosmo, the psychic Russian space dog, and he totally steals the show as the best boy. Sticking with the overall vibe, the upgrade system remains fun and engaging all the way through, even if it can feel a bit repetitive at times. Winning battles gives you ability points to unlock fresh powers, and you can use crafting currency on any of the 15 perks available from the get-go. It's cool to have everything accessible right away, since you can choose which upgrades to focus on first, but it does take some time away of the surprises as you move through the campaign. Still, I appreciated that the perks felt meaningful. Most of them aren't just about boosting stats, they actually unlock new moves like a dash punch or a time slowing effect when you dodge at the last moment. To put it simply, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is a blast. It's a straightforward storytelling and quick pacing are a breath of fresh air compared to the excess of games like Far Cry 6 and the occasionally annoying freedom of Deathloop. As it guides you through a tale packed with humor and banter, I can't help but feel nostalgic for a more carefree time. If you're into Marvel, you definitely shouldn't miss this. And even if you're not familiar with the Marvel universe, it still offers a super fun adventure among the stars. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a comment if you want more information on another specific title, and see you next time. Bye bye.